A huge thanks to Amazon for sponsoring this video. You can advertise on Amazon ads without actually selling on Amazon. And in my opinion, this is one of the easiest ways to test out advertising on television. I'm going to dive more into sponsored TV by Amazon ads in just a bit. I genuinely think that all brands should be aware of this great new offer. It's actually something that I'm testing out now with some of the brands that I'm working with. But first, I want to dive into the big question: why TV? Actually, looking into TV advertising is one of the first things that I talk about with brands as they're starting to scale. So why should brands consider advertising on TV? There are two massive reasons why I think all brands should at least consider it. Number one is the scale potential. According to Nielsen, over 125 households in the United States had at least one television. This is almost 97% of all households in the country. So this should tell you something really important. Your audience is available on TV. It's just about how you get there. Of course, if you're longtime viewers of my channel, we generally talk about paid social and social media. And that's where this data gets really interesting. According to Mixbloom, the average American spends 33 minutes a day on Instagram and just over 30 minutes a day on Facebook. However, the average American adult spends 2 hours and 33 minutes watching TV per day. So not only does nearly every single American household have a television, but they're also spending way more time on that platform than they are scrolling their phones on social media. And this trend is only something that increases with older generations. They're watching more TV and spending less time on social media. Now, a second big factor on why I think all brands should consider advertising on television is a big one. It's legitimacy and trust. Now, let's face it, when you are advertising on television, your brand and product just looks more legit. And yeah, I do think that's the technical term. There's no way around it, especially for older demographics. There's still a slight distrust with social media. But when you see an ad on TV, your brand and product already feels way more legitimate. And therefore, users tend to trust more what they see on television versus social media, which does have a higher likelihood of being manipulated. However, advertising on traditional TV is not very straightforward. And even when I started looking into it, there were so many options and it felt like this complicated process, which is again why I'm really stoked about this new sponsored TV by Amazon offer. Again, more on that in a bit. Now, some of the reasons why TV advertising seems really intimidating first comes down to the creative. Lots of brands think that you need to have a higher creative production value to match what is already on television. But you don't really need that in order to start testing out advertising on television. More on this in a bit. And then there is the actual media buy for television, which candidly is more complicated. And I do want to dive into that. Now, there are two main options that brands have when they decide that they want to test out advertising on television. Number one is what they call linear TV. Now, this is traditional TV advertising that is done through buying sponsored ad slots through cable and satellite outlets. And this is generally bought via a television agency. The second option is OTT and connected TV. This is essentially your streaming services. Now, you'll often see OTT and CTV in conjunction with one another, but they are slightly different. OTT stands for all video content that is distributed on the open internet. So all of the big streaming platforms are technically OTT. CTV is really any TV that is connected to the internet, but it also includes devices like a Fire TV stick, for instance, or a gaming console. Those also tend to have their own unique ad slots. Now, when thinking about OTT and CTV in conjunction with one another, they can often be considered self-serve, meaning any advertiser can go ahead and buy ad slots on these networks. However, I typically find that they're managed by an agency. And that's because there's so much intimidation around brands trying to advertise on these platforms by themselves. So one of the big perks of using sponsored TV from Amazon ads is, number one, it is self-service. So this is something that you yourself can opt into as an advertiser or a brand without having to go through the rigmarole of hiring an agency and doing some big production. You can do the media by yourself, just like other paid social platforms. However, the upside is way higher with Amazon because they have literal billions of buying, browsing, and streaming insights that will help you connect to your right customer. And these sponsored TV ads are going to show up on Prime TV, as well as the ability to also show up on Twitch streaming. which again is going to be a brand new platform for many advertisers. So you can be one of the first. Some of the industries that I think would be a no-brainer for this would be any product-based e-commerce business, as well as local service-based businesses. I know I don't talk much about local service-based businesses. It's something I hear from you guys a lot. The last thing I want to dive into is the creative, and then the type of the creatives that I'd recommend you guys testing out on this platform first. And the great news is ideally you already have this type of content and you don't have to go out and do a whole big production. In fact, when I've worked with brands that had started advertising on CTV and OTT, a lot of times they're using content that they already have, that they know performs well. I've seen a number of brands take their top performing ad creatives from paid social, format it into a 16:9 format, utilizing framing and text overlay and combining videos with one another to create something new for this platform, but based on content, again, that they've already seen perform well. And a recommendation that I'd have here is to take some of your top performing UGC content in conjunction with some product shots or some tutorial based content and combine them using framing and text overlay so that you can create something new for this type of platform. I've also seen founder stories ads work really well here. If you're interested in giving sponsored TV by Amazon ads a try, you can also get $500 in ad credits by going to the link in the description bar below. I'm using the same offer with a few of the brands that I'm working with. We are really excited about the ability to test out TV in a super new and easy format. And I'm really excited to hear what you guys think. So be sure to leave me a comment below if you plan on taking advantage of this awesome offer. All right, I'll see you guys next week. Bye.